Every area of the Duggar home, which is typically filled with chatter, laughter, and the happy chaos of a big family, is softly illuminated by the morning light. However, there is a lot of unspoken anxiety in the air today. Josie Duggar is lying in her room with a blanket wrapped over her weak body, looking up at the ceiling as though she is trying to find answers. Despite every treatment, hope, and prayer, her sickness has remained unrelenting and tenacious for months. The house downstairs runs with meticulous accuracy, surrounded by piles of medical reports, pamphlets, and notes from innumerable professionals. Bob is seated at the dining table. The weight of a father's dread is reflected in his worriedly lined face. Michelle is silently going about the kitchen, carefully making breakfast, her mind continually returning to her daughter's state. The underlying tension seems to be magnified by every sound and slight movement in the house, serving as a reminder that an unseen enemy has subtly taken over their everyday life. Although it is challenging, the rest of the family makes an effort to keep things normal. In an effort to protect their own hearts from the looming shadow of anxiety, siblings alternate between housework and study, smiling and hugging each other whenever they can. Even if they do little things like rearranging pillows, providing warm tea, and reading aloud portions from Josie's favorite books, nothing seems to be enough to break the cycle of her illness. Physicians have tried everything: alternative therapies, experimental therapies, specialized consultations, and conventional medicine are all regarded with much anticipation and guarded hope. Nevertheless, disillusionment always follows. Every setback hurts the family's hearts, but they don't give up. Their eyes are filled with a silent resolve, a firm conviction that Josie's spirit would endure despite any hardships her body may face. Josie senses the unseen pull between hopelessness and fortitude in her chamber. Her days are a cycle of exhaustion, little bursts of strength, and subtly supportive family members. She observes as they assemble about her, occasionally in quiet conversation and other times in silence, their love always there even when words cannot express it. The house itself appears to reflect her state, a once vibrant area that has become gentle and quiet, bearing the burden of anxiety, but also an unsaid hope that will not go away. The family's efforts are seen even in the most obscure areas of their existence. Late into the night, Bob examines medical articles in an attempt to find a clue. Michelle manages doctor's appointments, therapies, and schedules while striking a careful balance between care and attention. Siblings divide duties, taking turns making Josie comfortable, recording adjustments, and providing kind words of support. Every action, no matter how small, becomes a strand in a greater fabric of steadfast support. But even with their unwavering commitment, Josie's condition continues. Some days are a little better, brief flashes of the lively young lady she used to be. On other days, there are unidentified symptoms, new complications, and the nagging doubt. The family learns to strike a careful balance between faith and irritation, between hope and reality. Through it all, love is intense, unwavering, and unrelenting in our home. Every hardship, every tear, and every tiny triumph serves as evidence of how strong their relationship is. The Duggars cling to one belief despite the unclear journey and the long nights. They will face this battle together, and no difficulty, no matter how great, will weaken the love that unites them. Josie's illness dictates the pace of the Duggar household's long, somber days, which melt into one another. The expansive halls that were previously filled with laughing are now silent due to the constant burden of concern as the sun rises. Morning rituals are methodical and cautious, with every step made and every movement calculated with the implicit understanding that Josie's comfort and security come first. Josie's body is hesitant to meet the demands of another day, so her mornings start out slowly. Once uncomplicated, simple activities now seem gigantic. Her mother hovers close by, gently assisting her with every motion and providing an essential and consoling stabilizing presence. Quietly, the siblings arrive, their young enthusiasm subdued by the gravity of the occasion. A glass of water, a cozy blanket, or a reassuring shoulder rub are among the tiny gestures that each person brings. Even at her most vulnerable moments, she is surrounded by a web of love and care created by these tiny deeds, which are performed innumerable times. The family spends their days working hard and being watchful. Bob conducts extensive research, reading medical journals, speaking with experts, and consulting the nation's most prominent physicians. Every lead is meticulously pursued, and each suggestion is thoroughly considered. Michelle coordinates a complicated web of support, making sure that no detail is overlooked as she plans daily care schedules, therapies, and appointments. Their unwavering commitment is essential to Josie's well-being. Therefore, even the slightest omission is unacceptable. Even with their careful attention to detail, failures are common and depressing. A promising treatment might not work out right away. A previously managed condition could suddenly worsen. Every failure weighs more than the one before it, trying the family's endurance, fortitude, and optimism. But even during these times of hopelessness, the family doesn't give up. There is a collective knowledge that giving up is not an option, and there is a quiet determination. Their passion for Josie keeps them going, turning fatigue and annoyance into steadfast dedication. The tension in the house is evident, yet it is counterbalanced by tender and intimate moments. Siblings discreetly divide up the duties, taking turns keeping an eye on Josie, making sure she's comfortable, and documenting any little changes in her health. Their modest yet constant actions reveal a level of maturity beyond their years, an understanding that compassion and care may have just as much of an impact as medication. The family extends their reach beyond their house, turning to specialists, societies, and networks devoted to uncommon and chronic conditions for support. They look into alternative remedies, attend consultations, and contemplate treatments that provide even the smallest chance of improvement. Given the seriousness of the task at hand, every option is carefully considered and every choice is carefully discussed. Nevertheless, the emotional toll is indisputable notwithstanding the physical struggles and practical difficulties. Long nights are frequently spent in vigil as Michelle and Jim Bob keep an eye on Josie's health, alternating between worry and hope. The family finds comfort in little triumphs. A day without a fever, a grin, a moment of laughter, and learns to strike this delicate balance, supporting one another when others falter. Josie herself shows up as a silent influence in this struggle. Despite being weakened by her sickness, her grit, patience, and persistence serve as a reminder to the family of the human spirit's tenacity. Her strong points serve as focal points for the family, tiny glimmerings of optimism that bolster tenacity and strengthen the ties of love that envelop her. The Duggar family turns into a symbol of fortitude, kindness, and solidarity. The family faces obstacles every day, both obvious and hidden, yet their commitment never falters. They create a safe haven of steadfast love and unrelenting resolve around Josie via restless nights, never-ending study, and unceasing care. Every evening as the sun sets, the family gets together in silence to discuss the challenges and victories of the day. They spend quiet times of prayer, reflection, and the reassuring knowledge that they are going through these difficulties together. Hope is more than just a passing emotion in this home. It is a deliberate decision, a daily bravery, and a guarantee that no challenge, no matter how great, can break the ties that bind them. Months pass, and Josie's persistent illness continues to dictate the Duggar household's rhythm of existence. Every day, the family bears the burden of past failures while fostering the brittle spark of possibility, and they have become accustomed to the cycles of hope and disappointment. Once alive with carefree vitality, the house now reverberates with a subdued intensity, every movement and sound weighed against the background of Josie's continuous battle. Josie's health is still uncertain. On certain days, she seems to regain her vigor for a short while, her tired eyes gleaming with a glimpse of her former self. On other days, she is so exhausted that she is unable to move and becomes pale, requiring her family's unwavering care. Everyone's tolerance, faith, and emotional fortitude are put to the test as the uncertainty becomes nearly intolerable. The family chooses to try a new course of therapy during this protracted period of hardship, a specialist medical procedure that was suggested by a doctor from a far-off city. A mixture of cautious optimism and terror is sparked by the prospect of a possible breakthrough. The serious preparations start. Michelle runs the household to accommodate the chaos, while Jim Bob painstakingly arranges appointments, travel, and medical documentation. In order to make sure that every aspect of care is taken care of before departing for the far-off hospital, siblings modify their schedules and share responsibilities more closely. A mixture of worry and hope permeates the trip to the specialist. Every mile they travel feels like a challenge to their determination. Weak but resolute, Josie draws strength from the love that surrounds her and depends on her family's unfailing support. The drive itself takes on a symbolic meaning. A transition from months of effort and stagnation to the potential for regeneration. An opportunity for her body to react where it had not before. The air is charged with excitement as they arrive at the specialist. Josie is closely examined by the doctors, who do tests, review medical history, and take into account all factors that can affect her course of therapy. Hearts thumping, thoughts buzzing with possibilities, and dread nibbling at the edges of hope, the family waits outside the antiseptic rooms. Every minute feels endless, filled with concern, prayer, and the silent hope that things would turn out differently this time. After several days of monitoring, gradually improvements start to show. Little changes, like a decrease in symptoms or a reaction to medicine, suggest that Josie's body might eventually start to recover. Every milestone, no matter how small, has enormous importance. Knowing that these minor triumphs are only the beginning of a possibly protracted and uncertain recovery, the family silently celebrates. But skepticism endures even in the midst of these hopeful moments. On other evenings, Josie's condition deteriorates without warning, clouding the family's cautious optimism. Michelle and Jim Bob stay up for hours watching her, modifying her care, and calming their anxious kids. As they struggle with the idea that development can be fleeting, and that setbacks could happen at any time, emotional pressure increases. Every choice seems crucial, and every error could have disastrous consequences. The family grows closer during this turbulent time. Their mutual love serves as both protection and a haven from the unrelenting uncertainty, and they rely on one another for support. Encouragement is given by siblings, who tenderly carry Josie from room to room while exchanging sensitive and humorous whispered moments. Shared glances and quiet communication, a mutual understanding that words cannot express, are what give Jim Bob and Michelle courage. Despite being put to the test on a daily basis, their love endures and grows stronger. Josie herself starts to exhibit resilience that goes beyond simple physical stamina amid the stress and hardship. She interacts with her siblings with newfound vigor, participates in little everyday activities, and pays greater attention to her environment. These instances serve as a source of motivation for the whole family, and serve as a reminder that the human spirit can exhibit extraordinary bravery, even in the face of adversity. The first glimmer of optimism marks a potential turning point, but the journey through this chapter of illness is far from over. Through a combination of undying faith, unrelenting drive, and enduring love, the family continues to carefully navigate each day. Once controlled by dread and uncertainty, their lives now hold the tenuous but powerful possibility of recovery, which bolsters their tenacity and deepens their relationship. The Duggar household is calm but cautiously optimistic as the sun sets on another day. Although the future is still unclear, the family dares to hope that Josie might one day regain the health and vitality that have been so elusive for the first time in many months. And in that belief, even if it is hesitant, they find bravery, hope, and strength to keep fighting together, day by day. Months of uncertainty, restless nights, and unrelenting concern have been experienced by the Duggar household. The family has been put to the test every day, yet the love that unites them has not wavered. As Josie's illness moves into a crucial stage of therapy, a new chapter begins, one that is tense and full of cautious hope. Anticipation permeates the early mornings. Jim Bob carefully goes over the specialist's directions, making sure nothing is missed by cross-referencing each note and dosage. Michelle organizes care, makes healthy meals, and provides gentle assistance while moving through the house like a steady anchor. The siblings, who are now more conscious of how fleeting life is, carry out their responsibilities with maturity and empathy beyond their years, helping to watch over, support, and console Josie at every turn. Josie, who used to be shy and reserved, suddenly displays hints of her former strength. Her interactions are more involved, her eyes are a little brighter, and her motions are a little more deliberate. Every little triumph in a seemingly never-ending war, every shared laugh, every smile, is greeted with silent awe. The newly prescribed medication, which has been specifically designed to address her particular ailment, starts to show promise. Her months-long symptoms begin to subside. They are initially mild but become increasingly apparent. The family watches with a mix of relief and cautious optimism, hopeful that things could finally be improving, even though they know the road to recovery is not an easy one. Even with these advancements, difficulties still exist. They experience difficulties on some days which try their endurance and patience. Josie still has the specter of illness, and her energy levels are unpredictable. However, the family's strategy has changed. They now know how to be emotionally resilient in the face of uncertainty, adjust to unforeseen challenges, and rejoice in little wins. Their greatest strength now is their solidarity, which was built during months of adversity. During these crucial weeks, the household's emotional depth increases. During their quiet times of introspection, Jim, Bob, and Michelle acknowledge the weight they have carried and the unwavering tenacity that has led them. As they realize how crucial their combined support has been to Josie's journey, the siblings also absorb lessons in empathy, patience, and bravery. In their own unique ways, each family member becomes a pillar of support, reaffirming the notion that healing is a collective process rather than an individual one. The improvements become indisputable with time. Josie gets her strength back, engages in easy activities, and starts to grin more broadly. Once filled with silent worry, the room now reverberates with tentative but lively laughter. The return of warmth and conversation to family dinners is evidence of the household's tenacity and unwavering love. Josie has a spiritual rejuvenation in addition to her physical recuperation. She has been molded by months of illness, which has given her patience, thankfulness, and a calm resolve. Her story illustrates not only the struggle of the body but also the value of family, the victory of resiliency, and the significant influence of constant support. The family as a whole exhales with relief, yet they continue to be alert. They are aware that healing is a continuous, slow process that calls for constant love, care, and attention. However, optimism, faith, and newfound vigor have started to supplant the shadow that formerly ruled their days. There is now a calm routine to the evenings in the Duggar household. Family members get together to laugh, tell stories, and take quiet time to think. The previously tense tone has changed to one of cautious joy, acknowledging the struggles and successes. The ties created through hardship are stronger than ever, serving as a reminder of fortitude, solidarity, and unwavering love. The Duggar family is more united than ever as the chapter of Josie's illness approaches a crucial turning point. Their experience with adversity has enriched their relationships, enhanced their capacity for empathy, and shed light on the strength of hope. The family exemplifies a common belief that love, perseverance, and faith can triumph over even the most difficult obstacles in every look, touch, and gesture. Thus, the home is at peace in the gentle twilight light, with hearts entwined, spirits rejuvenated, and the future once more full of promise. With family by her side, Josie embarks on a road to recovery, one that is lined with compassion, bravery, and the steadfast support of those closest to her. As the dawn rises slowly over the Duggar home, a soft glow filters through the windows, revealing the faces of a family whose journey has left them forever altered. Although the protracted months of hardship, uncertainty, and restless nights have taken their mark, the family's tenacity and love have persevered through all of the difficulties. The home is now filled with a cautious delight that is serene. Josie, who was once frail and weak, is now moving with more confidence and strength. Her laughter reappears, quiet at first, then fuller, resonating through the corridors like a promise of better times to come. Knowing that every step forward is the consequence of persistent dedication, faith, and teamwork, the family quietly but fully celebrates her growth. Michelle and Jim Bob stand side by side in the kitchen, their eyes displaying relief, thankfulness, and pride as they watch their kids engage with Josie. Hope that feels earned and greatly valued has started to replace the weight that formerly hung so heavily over their home. This moment serves as a reminder that love, tenacity, and faith are strong forces against life's uncertainties, and is the result of every choice, restless night, and prayer. Now that they are older and more understanding, the siblings provide Josie with little but significant support. Their care is instinctive, the result of months of mutual accountability and comprehension. Every action, no matter how small, strengthens the familial ties that have been forged and tested by adversity. The home is filled with laughter, harmony, and the pure joy of being together during these times. The house itself seemed to be breathing with new vitality. Rooms that were previously quiet with anxiety are now bustling with play, conversation, and action. After being governed by illness, daily routines return to normal. Beneath the return to routine, however, is a deep realization. Although life is fleeting, love and togetherness offer a foundation resilient enough to withstand the most trying times. Even though Josie's recuperation is still ongoing, it represents more than simply physical rehabilitation. It stands for the enduring power of optimism, the strength of familial ties, and the victory of tenacity. The family, as well as anybody else who witnesses it, has learned from her journey that obstacles, no matter how great, can be overcome with bravery, empathy, and constant support. The family gets together during the peaceful nighttime hours. Through common experiences that have challenged and ultimately strengthened them, hands are held, smiles are shared, and hearts are united. Yes, there is laughing, but there is also a calmness of reflection, a profound respect for each other and the life they are still raising together. With her loved ones by her side, Josie sleeps soundly as the day comes to an end, her strength and spirit restored. Though the route ahead is still fraught with caution and care, light has replaced the gloom that once hung so ominously. By persevering, learning, and growing stronger, the Duggar family has shown that their love is unshakable, their hope is unwavering, and their unity has been a guiding force through even the most trying times. Thus, a fresh chapter of healing, resiliency, and promise begins as night descends on the home. Though they are not forgotten, the hardships that characterized their previous months are now woven into the fabric of a family that has learned the incredible strength of unity. The message is there in every look, every touch, and every shared smile. Love, faith, and perseverance can conquer even the most difficult obstacles, and a new day is always attainable.